Hello bookish besties, and welcome back to my channel. It is a lovely chilly fall day and I wanted to talk about the best books to read on Kindle Unlimited. The leaves are falling, the weather is getting chillier, and it is the best time to snuggle up with a blanket and a book. For those of you that like to lay down and get cozy while reading, a Kindle is probably the best invention ever because holding a book can be so difficult, so uncomfortable sometimes. You just want to have your hands under the blanket while clicking your little page turner button and reading your cozy books. That's why I wanted to give you my opinions on the best Kindle Unlimited books to read. So first I'm going to go through the books that I have personally read and loved, and then the second half of this video is going to be books that I'm super excited to read and that I've heard amazing things about from both people that I know and from people in the booktube and bookstagram community. If you just want to hear about books that are kind of trending right now and that have really good reputations, I will have the timestamps down in the description so you can skip on to the second part of this video. If not, I'm here to tell you about my favorite Kindle Unlimited reads. So every time I talk about a book, I'll be popping up in the name and the cover right up here so you guys can see what it looks like and what I'm talking about. And then if I have read it, I will give you my star rating, and I'm going to give you a quick description of all of these books and why you should read them. A lot of these recs are going to be romance and romantasy with some fantasy sprinkled in there, but we know that Kindle Unlimited is known best for its romances and romantasies, which is something that I adore. First, I want to talk about a book that I've read recently, and that is Phantasma. That is a dark fantasy romance where Ophelia, the main character, has to enter Phantasma, which is the house or manor of the devils, and it is obviously run by the Prince of Devils himself. People go in, it is a Hunger Game-esque trial, much like Caraval, and she has to make a deal with the Phantom that maybe becomes her love interest. So her goal is to make it to the end, win Phantasma, and get rid of all her mother's debt and start her life with her sister. If you like fated mates, touch her and you die, a strong sister relationship, magical trials, and a pretty spicy book, then this one's definitely for you. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. This is a new one and it has been trending and I really adored it. I thought it was dark, macabre. Another book I read and loved that has the same kind of trial-esque feeling to it and the same kind of like dark fantasy romance is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I read this about a year ago and I really enjoyed it. If you like vampires and again the Hunger Game-esque trials, then you're gonna love this one. Our main character Oriah was basically adopted by the king of the vampires from a really young age, and she's a human, obviously living in a world of vampires, so her dad tries to keep her as safe as she can and teaches her to be a badass. So if you want a really strong female character that can protect her own against these monsters and has a darker side, then I definitely recommend this book. Oriah is a superior main character. And then we have Rain. When she enters the Kajari, which is like their goddess, she holds like a trial, so she enters as a human with all of these vampires, and she meets Rain, who she makes a deal with because he will protect her and she will help him because they're both very strong, and you're more likely to win if you form a really strong team. So she meets Rain and their story unfolds from there. I thought that the trials were super well done because I have never read any trial like these. They were so unique and the stakes were absolutely through the roof during this entire book. You never knew what was going to happen and the ending is absolutely mind-blowing. I haven't read the sequel yet, but the sequel, and I believe the technically end of this duology, is The Ashes in the Star-Cursed King. Definitely highly recommend this one. I gave this one 4 stars when I read it. Let's move on to a different series that holds such a special place in my heart. I have not finished it yet because you guys know that I'm so bad at finishing series. That is the Broken Bonds series by Bree. I am obsessed with this series. I believe I read the first 3 books and I have the rest of the 3 to finish, but I'm thinking about doing an entire like reread / read through of this series because it truly is one of my favorites and I probably think about it multiple times in 1 week. So we have Oleander, our main character. In the first like couple of pages, you see her go through a traumatic event and she's put into this system that she was trying to run away from, and she gets paired with her bonds. So it's basically in this world, if you are the central bond, you have other people that will be bonded to you once you get to know them, and she was running away from this bonded group because of some reason that you'll learn later on in the series. So she has 5 bonds and I'm in love with every single one of them. So it is a reverse harem. If you're not into that, then it might not be for you, but this was the first reverse harem that I read and I absolutely fell head over heels for it because her relationship with all of the guys is very separate from one another and they all have such unique personalities and their relationships are all very unique as well. Oleander has 5 bonds. She's the central bond. So she has Draven and Nox, which are brothers. She has Gabe, Atlas, and Griffin. And I am telling you, they're all amazing. You have the more serious type, you have like the frat boy type, you have like the dark and brooding type, you have the really caring but quiet type, and you also have the kind of outgoing rich boy type. So you are getting all of these men in this book and they all have special powers, and you'll learn that Oleander also has a special power that she's very scared of. So there are like superpowers. It is a paranormal romance. Highly recommend that series. Okay, so it's not the Broken Bonds series. I lied. The first one's Broken Bonds. The series is The Bonds That Tie. And I gave Broken Bonds 4 stars. And the second one, Savage Bonds, I also gave 4 stars. Moving on to our last fantasy paranormal romance, and that is Shatter Me. So the first book is actually on Kindle Unlimited, and that is actually so exciting because I have all of the books in paperback and that's how I read them, but being able to read them on the Kindle would be amazing. So the first one's on Kindle Unlimited. This kind of gives the same vibe a little bit as Broken Bonds because our main character Juliet, every time she touches someone, they die, and Oleander kind of has like a similar power that she's nervous about. But anyway, Juliet is in this prison because she killed someone. She meets Adam and Aaron Warner. So Aaron Warner is our villain, but he's like a secret Rysand, as in he's going to be the beautiful love interest later on. So Adam escapes with her essentially, and they're trying to run away from this government that wants to use Juliet as basically a weapon in war. So it's like a dystopian fantasy. Adam's friend Kenji comes and takes them away to this secret military base where other people have powers and everything unravels from there. But Adam and Warner can both touch her and nothing happens. So that is the secret mystery that's going on. This is another very good series. It is a YA series and it was a very popular back when it came out, but it is also very popular now. I gave this one a 4 stars. So I have one darker romance on here. It is a mafia romance, and that is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. So if you want to read the entire Brutal Birthright series, it's on there. I'm going to specifically talk about Brutal Prince. That is the first book in the Brutal Birthright series, and I really enjoyed that one. It is about Ada and Callum, and they're from rivaling mafia families, and I believe it's set in Chicago. She accidentally sets their family's library on fire, and now because she did this, they need to make amends between the families. So she's forced to marry Callum, and it's their relationship. And also they're dueling with another mafia family because Callum is trying to be like the mayor or something, a high political figure in town that would be able to control a lot of things mafia-wise. There are like pictures throughout, so that's really fun to be able to see the characters, and the pictures like coincide with like the specific events that are going on in the book. So it's actually very fun, and it was very fast-paced because a lot of things are happening and there's like a kidnapping and a bunch of other stuff going on. So it's very fast-paced, very fun. I also give this one a 4 stars. Moving on to another reverse harem, which I think is one of my favorite tropes in books, especially like darker or like sports romance. Those are my favorite. So another reverse harem is Pucking Around. I'll never shut up about this book. I know that you guys are probably so tired of me talking about it. It's basically just 700 to 800 pages of spice, but I feel so much a part of this family. It's not even funny. The relationship that they create together is one of my favorite things ever, and I will never stop talking about it because I think about this book every single day of my life. Pucking Around, we have Rachel, and she's the athletic trainer for the new Jacksonville Rays hockey team, and she previously had a one-night stand with Jake. and then she also falls in love with Caleb, his best friend, and then she brings Ilmari, the grumpy Finnish goalie, into the picture, and they create a beautiful dynamic and family. The spice is off the charts in this book, so if you do not like spice, do not read this book because it is a lot of spice. But it's also them individually going through problems, figuring out who they are, and developing their sexuality and their family along the way. And I am team Price family all the way. I already know I gave this book 5 stars. No complaints at all. I will take no critiques on this book, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now moving on to some more cutesy rom-com romances. First of all, let's talk about Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. I love her writing. Stella and Luga are my favorite, and I will forever reread this around Christmas time. They developed this really close friendship, and he falls head over heels for her, but she refuses to acknowledge her feelings. But she owns a Christmas tree farm, and she signs up for this social media competition because she needs money to fix up the farm because things keep going wrong. So she puts down that she has a boyfriend, so Luca fake dates her for this entire time. So there's fake dating, there is like mysteries going on around the farm, there are lovable side characters, and just adorable moments between her and Luca. I gave this one 5 stars, and I will never change that rating because it deserves it. A cutesy rom-com cowboy romance is obviously going to be the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I read the first one, Flawless, and that is between bull rider Rhett and Summer. She is like a personal media manager. Her dad works for Rhett to control his media presence basically, and how the fans see him, and he screws up and says he doesn't like milk, which is basically all of his followers and people that like him are farmers, and obviously where does milk come from? Farms. So he screws up big time, and Summer needs to go in and make sure he's behaving and not causing any other PR nightmares, and then their relationship develops from there, and I love it. The bull riding scenes are so good. Family drama with Summer and her family, out of this world. Sexy cowboys, that's all I have to say. Another very cute series is The Seasons of Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth on Kindle Unlimited. I have read both 'Tis the Season for Revenge and The Fall of Bradley Reed, which I read recently in a vlog. I loved both of these. So 'Tis the Season for Revenge is between Abby and Dante, and her boyfriend tragically dumps her. She wants to get revenge, so she dates his boss. That's all I'm going to say for that. It is set around Christmas. I loved that one. And then The Fall of Bradley Reed is her fiance was like using her for some mastermind plan. He leaves her at the altar, so she has to figure out who she is, and then her FBI agent that is stalking her, well, not stalking her, but technically stalking her, has to intervene to make sure she doesn't wind up in prison so he can protect his case, and they wind up falling in love. So I think these are very quirky, well-written, just rom-com books, and they're absolutely adorable. I gave 'Tis the Season for Revenge 4 stars and The Fall of Bradley Reed 4 stars as well. So those are all the books on Kindle Unlimited that I highly recommend that I have read, and I think you guys should also read. Now we're going to go into the portion of books that I have heard really great things about and that I am excited to read on Kindle Unlimited. We're gonna start with the one like really main fantasy that I've been hearing everybody talk about. There's a Kickstarter for it, and my husband read it and raves about it, says it's one of the best books he's ever read. That is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. I am not entirely sure what this is about, but my husband has ranted about it multiple times, so I'm just gonna give you the gist of the description on Goodreads. But I know that everyone is raving about this book right now. A mother struggling to repress her violent past, a son struggling to grasp his violent future, a father blind to the danger that threatens them all. When the winds of war reach their peninsula, will the Matsuda family have the strength to defend their empire, or will they tear each other apart before the true enemies even reach their shores? High on a mountainside at the edge of the Kaigenese Empire live the most powerful warriors in the world, superhumans capable of raising the sea and wielding blades of ice. For hundreds of years, the fighters of the Asunagi Peninsula have held the Empire's enemies at bay, earning their frozen spit of land the name, the Sword of Kaigen. Born into Usunagi's legendary Matsuda family, 14-year-old Mamoru has always known his purpose, to master his family's fighting techniques and defend his homeland. But When an outsider arrives and pulls back the curtains on Kaigen's alleged age of peace, Mamoru realizes that he might not have much time to become the fighter he was bred to be. Worse, the empire he was bred to defend may stand on a foundation of lies. Misaki told herself that she left the passions of her youth behind when she married into the Matsuda house. Determined to be a good housewife and mother, she hid away her sword, along with everything from her days as a fighter in a faraway country. With her growing son asking questions about the outside world, the threat of impending invasion looming across the sea, and her frigid husband grating on her nerves, Misaki finds the fighter in her crawling its way back to the surface. So I think it's going to be a really strong mother and son relationship fighting against like these enemies and the lies that they were told, and I think it's going to be the mother finding her spirit again. So I'm really excited. The cover of this is absolutely gorgeous and I think I'm really going to love it. And on the cover it says, "Better to die sharp in war than rush through time of peace." Sounds so good. It's giving like Mulan, Avatar, but like with a super amazing like fantasy twist. I think they're gonna have blades of ice. That is so badass. So I'm very, very excited to read that one. That one is definitely going to be on my winter TBR because it looks like they live in like a land of ice and they use ice blades. So that'll be the perfect ambiance when it's snowing out and I can snuggle up near the Christmas tree. So catch that on my winter TBR. So this is one I've been seeing pop up on like my "you would like this" like based off of your other reads. So this one is called Deadly Occupants. It's a paranormal thriller and I've been so into haunted houses lately. You can obviously tell with me reading The Haunting of Ashburn House. That was such a good book. But this one says, "Do the dead ever stay dead, or are the shadows something to fear?" A haunted house tour on Halloween night with 3 of her college best friends takes a twisted turn as Blair barely escapes with her life. The night may have ended, but the horrors are just beginning. Soon after, their own home seems to come alive, making them question if they're truly alone. As the paranormal activity rises to a fear-filled high, Blair discovers that the house isn't the only thing haunting her, but also her past. Now Blair faces the challenges of solving the devastating mystery or risk succumbing to the same torturous fate. I just think it sounds so good. And the cover is beautiful. I am obsessed. I'm staring at it right now. I literally love it. That's the kind of house I want to live in. Not even gonna lie. I don't even care if it's haunted. Another one that I've seen people rave about that I think is a horror because it's put in the horror section in the bookstore is Slewfoot by Brom, and this cover is just disturbing. Let me just start with that. I love it. It gives me like the goosebumps. So it's set in colonial New England, and it says that Connecticut 1666, an ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him Father, Slayer, Protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, Demon, Devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he's the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in their wake. This terrifying tale of bewitchery features more than 24 of Brahms' haunting, full-color paintings and brilliant end papers, fully immersing readers in this wild and unforgiving world. I like that it's giving like a historical fiction horror, where it's bringing in like the religious part. Like, you know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new one. The one that's Sabrina, and there's like the devil, and then there's also like the pagan worshippers that are like bringing the occult back, and I really love that like natural historical like horror with where they bring in like religion and like bewitchery and like all that old-timey stuff. I really love that. This one is very short and not so sweet, and I am excited because I've heard amazing things about this one and I've heard people rave about it, and the cover is amazing. It's super creepy and gross, and that is The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. It says, Ji-won's life tumbles into disarray in the wake of her appa's extramarital affair and subsequent departure. Her mother distraught, her younger sister hurt and confused, her college freshman grades failing, her dreams horrifying yet enticing. In them, Ji-won walks through bloody rooms full of eyes, succulent blue eyes, mouth-watering blue eyes, eyes the same shape and shades as George's, who is Oma's obnoxious new boyfriend. He brings about his puffed-up consulting job, ogles Asian waitresses while dining out, and acts condescendingly towards Ji-won and her sister as he deserves all of Oma's fawning adoration. But George doesn't deserve anything from her family. Ji-won will make sure of that, no matter how many victims accumulate around her campus or how many people she must deceive and manipulate. Ji-won's hunger and her rage deserve to be sated. So I think this is going to be like pure feminine rage and like gruesome, disgusting imagery, and I am all for it. I think anything that has to do with with the eyes is super creepy and disgusting, but I love it. Like in Butcher and Blackbird, she's the orb weaver because she pulls out their eyes and like weaves a web and everything around them. So anything to do with eyes is super amazing and disgusting at the same time. So I'm very excited about this. So I'm gonna have to somehow fit all three of those into my fall reading. So I've seen this both on booktube and bookstagram, and that is The Lies We Steal, which is book 1 of the Hollow Boys series. It says, "It's been months since the day we stood above the empty grave that stunk of burnt flesh and secrets. All of us were dressed to the nines, one of us wearing a wedding dress, a day that was supposed to mark the beginning of a new adventure. It marked the bitter end of our vengeance. We have done things that have marked our souls for eternity, but before we get there we have to go back to where it all started, the place I could find in my sleep. Hollow Heights University in the macabre, somber seaside town of Ponderosa Springs, a college for prestigious, wealthy children to receive the highest education, a town drowning in treachery and secrets that became our damnation. But it wasn't the forest surrounding the grounds or even the mysterious hidden mausoleum that haunted me, it was them. The ones that lurked in the night, things so wicked, so twisted, so evil, they would become the rulers of my nightmares. The Hollow Boys. One wrong move and I landed myself directly in their line of fire. This is not a story about love, it is not a story of happy endings. Love just happened to blossom in our sorrows and our pain, our fear, our blood. Every terrible thing they ever did, we watched, we helped, we loved them anyway. Some run from their monsters, we fell in love with ours." Ah, that sounds so good. I am obsessed with like dark foreboding men. I don't know what it is, but that just gets me so giddy and excited. Oh, that's gonna be so good. And this is by Monty J, if you were wondering. And on the front of this book, it says, "She can run, but she can't hide." I'm so excited. Now we're gonna move on to another dark one that I have been wanting to read for so long. It is Nocticadia by Keri Lake. I'm excited to read anything by Keri Lake because everyone is obsessing over this and Anathema right now. Mortui vivos docent, the dead teach the living. First of all, you get me when you use Latin. You do. And then the dead teach the living. Amazing. I love anything with like the creepy, macabre, gruesome atmosphere. You get me. After watching my mother succumb to a mysterious illness, I promised myself two things. I'd find the cure for what ravaged her and leave the godforsaken city where she abandoned. 4 years later, I received an acceptance letter from Nocticadia University, one of the oldest, most prestigious schools in the country. Nestled on a secluded island off the coast of Maine, it's rumored to be haunted by the souls of the mental patients exiled there centuries before, those whose bones are said to make up the island's white sandy shores, and restless ghosts aren't even its most daunting peculiarity. Deverick Bromwell, known on campus as Dr. Death, is a brilliant pathologist in charge of the Midnight Lab. He's also my devastatingly handsome professor who seems to loathe tenacious first years like me, except his dark and enigmatic gaze tells me all the ways he'd devour me if given the chance, and his stolen kisses burn my lips with forbidden jealousy. I crave his authority, he aches for redemption. Together we're toxic, delicious fodder for the prying eyes hell-bent on exhuming the rotted skeletons of our past. For the dead have much to teach, and it's only a matter of time before Dracadia's most depraved secret is resurrected. Oh, it's so good. It's a dark academia setting. I love anything set at a school, like especially like a creepy psycho school. So good. And then it's obviously, like I said, giving the dark academia, the gothic, the secrets, the forbidden love, the student teacher, as long as both of them are of the age over 18. Now I'm just getting myself excited. Now I'm gonna go sit down, and my Kindle's in this gigantic thing. I'm gonna go sit down and read for hours and hours and ignore every single responsibility that I've ever had. Who needs food? I'll just drink coffee. Another one that I've heard so many good things about. People have been raving about this one recently, and it actually just got trad published, and that is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. And I'm not sure what this one's about. I did just buy it in the physical copy after it was trad published. I got it at Target, but I'm very excited to read this and try to see what it is about. See, this is my problem. I have no idea what books are about, and I hear really good reviews, and I look at the cover and I'm like, yep, that's for me. No idea what it's about though. When old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the descended, their cruel offspring, DM Balator yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer DM an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, mysterious heir watching her every move, and a ruthless mortal alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of power, love, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. Spark of the Everflame is the first book in the Kindred's Curse saga, a 4-book fantasy romance series. It is a slow burn, enemies to lovers, and it is perfect for lovers of magic, dragons, there's dragons in this, shut up, angst, and banter. Yes, 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 yes. I love dragons. That brings us to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have made it this far, please leave a skull emoji. Also, please comment any of your favorite Kindle Unlimited recs. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future content. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy reading. Love you, bye.